Hello there, hello there, hello there, YouTubes. How the devil are we all? I am very well, thank you for asking. And welcome to part 4 of a reading from the Book of Warcorpse, Kissing and Shitting the Stars. Shitting spelled wrongly, as was the will of the almighty Warcorpse 666. Yeah, so without further ado, let's just get into it. You know the format by now. I'm going to take a look at some fucking scribbled shite from Warcorpse 666. So let's do that. We share, wait for the weird screen, and then we do that. And bibbidi bobbidi boo. Right. Last time out, we took a look. We finished off with Bill O'Reilly, and now he moves on to Selena Gomez. Look at the scope. Look at the depth of the man. He can move straight on from Billow without any segue to Selena Gomez. We're dealing with a genius here, people. Anyway, Warcorpse writes, Selena Gomez. You know as much as I hate her, comma. I'll get to that in a second. What? Okay. Part of me still feels sorry for the poor girl. How much hate mail do you think she's had to deal with once millions of tween and teen girls found out she was sucking their one dream dick? What is his obsession with sucking dick? He brings it up so often, it's ridiculous. I mean, obviously it's because he's not, his is as dry as a bone, obviously. Um, and it's Walkups. It's that's really on you, isn't it? Anyway, I'll bet 90% of the letters she got probably was something along the lines of, "Get away from Justin, you bitch, you," or "He's you bitch you," or "He's mine. We're meant to be together. You can't." Well, that's poorly. Look, you've got here right from Justin, comma, you bitch. You did that right, but then you didn't do comma, you cunt. And also the "you" is supposed to be italicized and the "or" isn't, because that's the gap between. So I like the idea. One of my constant criticisms is you haven't been putting these in italics or quotation marks. So you've done that, but you fucked it up. Walk up. So even when you do it right, you do it wrong, which is genius. I wonder how many millions the post office made off this one topic alone. I'm guessing it's not much, walk ups, because who sends fucking letters anymore? That small spot of sympathy aside, comma, will not stop me from ripping her apart. Okay, it will not. What am I doing? Selena Gomez, comma, a girl that sadly owes all of her fame to that little douchebag. And by the way, he hasn't actually mentioned it yet, but it's Justin Bieber he's talking about. He's mentioned Justin, but he didn't. Look, we're supposed to know instantly what that is because I'm not a celebrity person. And if I hadn't read this already, because this is the second take I've had to do of this part, because the last one was 45, 50 minutes of me talking to nobody because the sound wasn't working or some shit. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't know that he was talking about Justin Bieber. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm also sure that she was spoon-fed the same crap for the same marketing team from the same marketing team that Justin was. Again, not specifying who Justin is. Justin up your arse. On their relationship, you could almost see the script that had all the lines that dumb Christian middle American parents like to hear. No punctuation in that sentence whatsoever. To make sure their kids have good, wholesome role models. That's supposed to be a comma, and it's a continuation of the same sentence. Walkers. Fuck you, twat. Whatever he or she said was bullshit. Anyway, with anyone with half a brain should know they fucked the second the cameras were off. Possibly so, Walkups, but do you have to be such a twat about it? You know? Anyway. Even now, after they broke up, she might want to swing by his house for a courtesy blow. Again, he's mentioned dick stocking in twice in the first 3 paragraphs of this one bit. Hell, comma, would anyone know her name without having been Justin's former flame? Average compared to all the other pop singers that are trying to make it. She can't act for shit, comma, Spring Breakers proved that. Proved that. What does that mean? Oh, you dickhead. Without being on Justin Bieber's arm, comma, she would have ended up much like Rebecca Black after 15 minutes of Fame Flame Out. Fame Flame Out, it's genius. Anyway, right. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, Rebecca Black. That was the Friday, that fucking shit show. But I mean, at least she did something. She'll be vaguely remembered in the annals of the internet. Anyway, now, comma. There's talk of her battling depression because of her breakup with Justin Bieber. See, you mentioned his surname then. If you mention it at the start, then you can call him Justin because we know who you're referring to, dickhead. The magazines are already reporting on her brave struggle with depression. Mark my words, comma. There will be a book coming. My thoughts are, why does anyone care about Selena's breakup and depression more than they care about Flipper's wrinkled dick? Flipper's wrinkled dick. The thing is, when you're trying to contrast this thing that you think is trivial, you're supposed to contrast it with something important, not Flipper's wrinkled dick. Yeah, anyway, I mean, it's really nothing. Teenagers break up every day, comma, in every state, comma, in every country, in the world. Usually, comma, the average teenager will have 5 breakups in the course of high school. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that would be an interesting stat if that is true. But I like what Warcorpse says. I'm guessing you've got it out of his arsehole. Where are her parents in all of this? Did you think to look it up, maybe? No? Okay. I know she's over 18. Yeah, why didn't you look up the fucking parents thing? It's why you're asking a question. Like in the last the last episode where the 3 films or the 3 books or whatever it was, and he couldn't even name the third one. So rather than look it up, he just put "and the other one." So there's no research at all. I know she's over 18, but there's got to be someone in her life that can slap the bitch and tell her to get over it. Couple of things, Walkups. Firstly, your continued usage of violent imagery against women, I think, speaks rather to your lack of respect. And secondly, telling someone to get over their depression doesn't actually really help them to get over their depression. Otherwise, when you go to a doctor with depression, he just say, "Sorry, Mister Nordal, have you thought about just getting over it?" And you go, "Oh, of course. Oh, God, why didn't I think about just getting over it? Oh, silly me. Okay, doctor, see you later. Oh, by the way, my dick fell off. Oh, did you think about just getting over it?" Like, anyway. Yeah. So shut up, basically. Well, I will on the page at least. What? Tell her to, oh, I don't know. Anyway, and also you don't know that people aren't in her life that are telling her these things anyway because you haven't done any research into it. Selena, this is not going to Selena, comma, this is not going to be the last boyfriend you'll ever have. There are going to be others, so get the fuck over it, comma, bitch. Again, calling her a bitch, brilliant. I mean, it's just sexist trash, isn't it? Plus, comma, if you're this distraught over your breakup with Bieber, comma, I wouldn't hate. I would hate to think how the fuck you're going to take your first divorce. So you've already got to see her getting married and divorced. So that's wow. You've got high expectations there, Warcorpse. You twat. Kristen Stewart. And he does this again. Look, Kristen Stewart is the title of the thing, and then he puts Kristen Stewart, look, the actual same name as the first 2 words of the paragraph. Look, why? Anyway, Kristen Stewart, comma. What can you say about someone whose career will rise and fall with Twilight? That's a question, so we should have a question mark at the end, Warcorpse. Believe it or not, comma, I have nothing against Kristen Stewart. She didn't write the damn books, obviously, Walkups. I mean, she acted in the films, but how did anyone think she wrote the books? I don't know. Anyway, all she did was act in the movies based on those books. She's not that good of an actress, but she's not the worst. Walkups. She's not the worst I've seen. She's never going to win a fucking Oscar for her acting ability. How can you say that? If you think she's not that bad now, she could get a lot better. And also, she could land on her feet with a particular role. Because it's often not actually the performance so much as it being like the starring performance in a very big film. So it's perfectly possible that she will win an Oscar at some point. I really have only one thing to say about her. That shouldn't be the end of the paragraph, Walkups. That should be the start of the next one, really. But anyway, am I the only one that thinks that when you look at Kristen Stewart, comma, you've seen the embodiment of the dirty girlfriend? You've. I'm talking the girl you date, comma, that you never bring home to the folks until after you elope to Vegas and give her a pep talk. You live in a classy world, Warcorpse, don't you? The type of girlfriend that will let you do anything and is into everything. Girlfriend that will fuck you until your dick turns to jello. Oh, my word. The type of chick that sets up a three-way with one of her friends because she forgot it was your birthday and it was the best she could do on short notice. Yeah. And no, she doesn't give me that impression. What comes? You are a prick, Warcorpse. Thomas Harris, right? Ah, come on now. There we go. Does anyone know the name Thomas Harris? Oh, well done, you remembered the question mark. If you don't, comma, that's not shocking. He's the author of Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, italicized the title of a book. Well done, Warcorpse. Silence of the Lambs, comma, the book based on. He's also the author of the prequel Red Dragon. His next books were simply milking the Hannibal cash cow. Harris also didn't invent the incredibly interesting character of Hannibal Lecter. In both SOTL and Red Dragon, the character, again, you didn't italicize this time, why? And it should be Red Dragon, comma, Hannibal is the side character. Otherwise, it's just, and Red Dragon Hannibal is the side. Who the fuck is Red Dragon Hannibal? You mean, and Red Dragon, comma, Hannibal is a side character. See, punctuation really matters, Walker. That's, I mean, I don't do it just to be a grammar Nazi. It makes your sentences virtually unreadable. It's only because in this instance I happen to know that the book is called Red Dragon and Hannibal is the character that I know a fucking comma should go between Dragon and Hannibal. Anyway, it was only after an amazing performance from Anthony Hopkins that the character was really given life. The book and movie Hannibal prove that. Again, Hannibal should be italicized there. Hannibal was not the worst of it, though. There isn't even a fucking full stop, or a period for the Americans, at the end of that sentence. It's the end of a paragraph that just ether, it seems. Then he went on to write Hannibal Rising. Hannibal Rising should be italicized. This took everything that made Hannibal Lecter and took a big shit on it. Oh, you are glorious. Literally, comma, you could see Thomas Harris writing it to justify some monster advance he was given. The book is stupid and Hannibal completely out of character. And Hannibal is completely out of character. The movie is even worse, comma, I don't recommend it to anyone. Now, to be honest, I haven't read the books, but I mean, Warcorpse makes out that he has, but he's also said that he hates reading, so he doesn't read books, so I'm not sure whether to believe him or not. A perfectly legitimate criticism he's making, I don't know. Anyway, so, comma, what is Thomas Harris wrote since Hannibal Rising? Hannibal Rising should be italicized, and what has Thomas Harris written since, virtually what most of the words in that sentence, or half of the words in the sentence, are wrong in some way. Wrong sentence, you fucking prick. This is why I get angry with him, because it's just such sloppy nonsense. The answer is nothing, and that actually makes me happy. You're happy that a well-known author isn't writing books. Again, not for the first time. This is literally in this book, and we're already at page 41. This is the second time you've said that well-known, successful, popular authors, you're happy if they don't write. I mean, that's brilliant. You are you're the embodiment of, like, not just reading, but not wanting to read. Celebration of fucking ignorance and stupidity. You are quite literally, at least in part, what is wrong with America. Anyway, just sit back, Tom, and collect the royalty checks. I will allow him off with checks there because that's the way the Americans spell it, but it's still fucking wrong. Because that means to check something, to make sure it's correct, which is something you don't do with your book programs. check. I would always write check as in like a paper payment for something in a bank note or whatever. Not a bank note. Write in a bank. CHEQUEX, obviously in this case, because it's plural. Don't make your character more of a joke than he already is. Brilliant stuff, Warcorpse. Jaden Smith, who has risen recently in some popularity because of Facebook shenanigans, I believe. But anyway, Jaden Smith, might I make a suggestion to you, young man? Might I suggest that you look at colleges? You are not going to be your father. You don't have the musical talent. You don't have the acting ability. I don't care what your parents don't have it. That's harsh, especially because he's really young. And again, he's obviously even younger than Kristen Stewart. You can learn such things. And he's got a significant in because of his parentage. So I mean, I can't be that critical of him because he's a kid, you know. Whatever. I'm not saying you're not smart. One day might make a fine doctor, dentist, paleontologist, archaeologist, architect, or whatever happens to make you happy. It should one day you might make, not one day might make, because that doesn't make any fucking sense. However, in the entertainment industry, not in front of the camera anyway. If you don't want to be in movies, I suggest something behind the scenes. Coming from the man with the most face for radio look I've ever seen, but whatever. The reason I say this is because you don't have it. And again, well done for italicising that, because then I knew that you had to put emphasis on it. Thank you, Warcorpse. You've almost become, for this one brief moment, and I'm sure it'll collapse instantly, you've almost become a proper writer. Well done. You're never going to have it, and that's just the way it is. Please save yourself the embarrassment and us the excruciating agony of having to see you act and find something you're good at. If you happen to be pissed off with what I wrote, it's written, of course, and you happen to be named Jaden Smith, then by all means prove me wrong. Yeah, I'm sure Jaden Smith really feels the need to, prove himself to you, doesn't he, Warcorpse? Anyway. Oh, apologies, just had to take a little swig of something there. Kathy Griffin. Now, obviously, this would have been written long before the recent Kathy Griffin Trump decapitation thing. Not that I don't know what Warcorpse's thoughts were that on that were, but whatever. How the fuck did you make it on my list of real celebrities? Kathy. Again, well done on the question mark, Warcorpse. That's good. See how low I've let the bar slip for him. I'm giving him praise for remembering to put a question mark at the end of a question. Genius. You're not as bad as Joan Rivers because at least you embrace your D-list status. Unlike Joan, you seem to accept and be fine with your status of mediocrity. For that reason, I actually like you, Kathy. I also don't think your stand-up is all that bad either. You accept that you'll always barely be a celebrity, and that's nice. Good for you, girl. Again, really damning with faint praise there. The only thing I hope to see out of you that would grab a few headlines, I would actually like to see you complete that blowjob on Anderson Cooper you started back during the New Year's Eve celebration of 2014. Something to think about. Is it really something to think about, Warcorpse? Is that really actually something to think about? Because I really don't think it is. I mean, again, your obsession with blowjobs because you're not getting them. And Anderson Cooper's gay. So, I mean, that just adds another level of distastefulness to your whole fucking gibberish. You're a dickhead, Warcorpse. Ann Coulter. Now, this is going to annoy me because I bet he's going to say some really horrifically sexist and transphobic shite, and I'm going to have to defend Ann Coulter in some way. I bet that's what's going to happen. Right. Where the fuck do I start with this bony twat? Oh, there we go. Straight away. Right. That's a question mark at the end of that because that's a question, Warcorpse. It's a fucking horrible question. It's a stupid question. It doesn't need to be there, but it's a question nonetheless. Put a question mark on the thing. I mean, she sits there and spews out that her books are so brave and she goes where other people don't dare. That she'll speak up against both parties if need be. Easy to do when both parties, comma, Republican and Democrat, comma, are full of fucking morons. And you are just the peak of intellectuality, Warcorpse. Intellectuality, is that real? Intellectualism? Whatever. Despite her assurances, comma, her books are nothing more than 200 plus pages of the same crap that you can read on any blog or any other book written by a conservative author. Her talking points are as redundant as a fucking merry-go-round. I don't think a merry-go-round is entirely redundant, is it? Like, some people enjoy those things. And some people enjoy Ann Coulter books. I mean, I don't know why, but they do. How many times can you beat the conservatives are virtuous guardians of good and liberals are the harbingers of the devil drum? Again, you should italicize the from conservatives to devil there. That should be italicized. And it's a question, so it has a question mark at the end, or should have. It doesn't, though, because you wrote it. She doesn't say anything new or give a new twist on anything that hasn't been said by Hannity, Beck, Jones, or the godfather of it all, comma, Limbaugh. I mean, to a degree, I suppose, but I mean, as with everything, like if you're a conservative, in the same way that if you're a liberal or if you're a socialist or whatever, you're probably going to come to similar conclusions as the other people that are of that political ilk as well. Not always, of course, but you're going to say a lot of the same things. So again, I really don't want to defend Ann Coulter because she's detritus. I mean, she really is. But yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a criticism so much. But whatever. I mean, she's popular in her own demographic, whatever. Or with her demographic, whatever. The only thing that you can actually say about this woman, comma, that is different in her is her friendship with Bill Maher. Yeah, that is a bit weird. Although they are both anti-science fucking loons, so they've got that going for them. Well, in terms of their friendship, they've got that going for them. But in terms of their, being human beings, they've got that very much against them. That, to me, however, Warcorpse continues, doesn't make you a unique voice in the river of pandering bullshit. The books she writes are no different than the 100s. I mean, am I being harsh? Is that the way Americans would? I would put it hundreds as in the word, because to me that's the 100s of others. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. The hundreds of others that other conservative authors write. Again, it's not necessarily wrong. It's just shit writing. These damn books are published about once a week, comma, how many points can there be? That's a question mark. Put a question mark on it. What amazes me is how many people buy books that bring up the same point over and over again. Yeah, I think that's pot calling the kettle black, though, Walcott. I wonder how much research Anne actually does for her books, or if she just shits something on the page because the fucking mortgage is due. Well, I don't think she has to worry about the mortgage anymore. I think she's done financially very well for herself. But yeah, again, I really don't want to defend her, but she has been successful. That's just a fact. Her average book is 294 pages of filler, leaving 6 pages for the actual argument the book is trying to make. I always love it with Warcorpse. You always get the impression with him that he's annoyed that it's too long. The book is just too long. As you can see, Warcorpse doesn't like a book of over 165 pages. That's 300 pages, which isn't even a particularly long book, is too much for him, it would appear. Even then, the point of the book is no different what's said 24/7 on the news and radio than what's said. I mean, such simple words, you just miss that. Plus, comma, whatever she writes, whatever she writes, comma, 1,000 other people have done 1,000 other times. Again, repetition of 1,000. It's just so shit. How many fucking ways can you say Obama sucks and George Bush is great? Question mark. Reagan, spelt wrong. Brilliant. You misspelled the name of an ex-president. That's genius. Reagan was the greatest person since Jesus. Liberals are evil, godless, communists, and conservatives are virtuous, true Americans. Question mark. In fact, they should all have question marks because you're asking the question, aren't you? I don't know what's worse. What's worse, comma, the fact that she writes the same book every time, or the fact that people buy it each and every time. That's not to say Well, it's that people buy it, because the thing is, she'll continue writing in the same way that the criticisms you've made of Thomas Harris and Stephanie Meyer in this book. If people are going to continue to buy it, they're going to continue to write it. They're milking their cash cow. That's what I mean. So it's obviously the people that are buying it that are really the problem there. They're not demanding anything of their author, so their author isn't giving them anything. That's not to say that liberals don't do the same thing. How many times can you buy a book with Al Gore saying, "We're all going to die"? America, think for yourself. Okay. Don't. How many times are we all going to die? That should be a question mark at the end, and italicized, I imagine, or in inverted commas because it's a fake quote or a approximated quote or whatever. Don't believe something because some blonde bitch that sucked a publisher and a fat radio host's dicks wrote in a book. Again, just because yours is not being sucked, Warcorpse, you don't need to write about it in every fucking chapter. Jay Leno. Jay again starts with J. Brilliant. Jay, comma, I just have one question to ask you. What's it like to hit the hat trick at NBC? I mean, comma, I believe you've quit, retired, and got fired. And gotten fired? I think so. That's a hell of an accomplishment. I mean, you've also been the one to be screwed and then screw others. You've done damn near everything at NBC except burn it to the ground. In the same decade, comma, you've gone from being the most beloved late night talk show host to being, comma, to being the most hated late night talk show host. That's a hell of a ride. I mean, you go in a very short space of time, a guy that had NBC saying they'd move one of its staples, The Tonight Show, comma, that should be a comma, I think. But it should be, you've gone from in a very short space of time from a guy that blah 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 blah, the Tonight Show, comma, from its traditional time slot that it had for over 40 fucking years, all for you. But you haven't got from that to what? Then a little later, those same people at NBC kicked your fat ass out the door. That's so abysmally written, Warcorpse. I mean, that really is shit. That's unacceptable. It's really amazing when you think about it. Yeah. It's amazing that you actually published this, Warcorpse. This is embarrassing. Harrison Ford. You know I was going to bring some shit up and slaughter Harrison Ford, but he's my mother's and sister's favourite actor. So considering the shit I'll get at every Christmas, I'm not going to. So, Harrison, Harrison, consider yourself lucky. Does that mean you're a cock? Is that how that works now in the old righty land? I don't know. Anywho, moving on from Warcorpse's fucking cowardice. Anyway, uh, David Schwimmer, what the fuck happened to your career? That's a question, Warcorpse. So you know what you may have picked up a theme here. You know what I'm going to say? You should probably put a question mark at the end of it because it's a fucking question. I mean, you went from playing Ross on Friends, comma, one of the highest rated shows on television, to playing the guidance counsellor in Apt Pupil, to playing a role in 6 Days, 7 Nights. Should that be 6 days, comma, 7 nights? And all of these names for these, like Friends, Apt Pupil, 6 days, 7 nights, should be italicized so that I know they're not part of the sentence proper. They're the names of the shows. And then nothing, at least not, comma, at least nothing that anyone has heard of. 1 TV show, comma, 2 movies. And again, why do you put 1 as a word and 2 as a number, as a numeral? That's really shit. You shouldn't flip and change like that. It's, ugh. And you were ready to call it quits. It's just as well David Schwimmer. No, it's just as well David Schwimmer couldn't act his way out of a gorilla's nutsack. Oh, fucking hell. Your words are your tool, aren't they, Warcorpse? Words for you aren't so much a flower as some goo that you just throw at the wall out of a gorilla's nutsack. It's amazing. I, for one, am glad that he's fucked off into the sunset. He loves to hate on people. It's brilliant. Anyone who thinks I'm wrong about this, comma, just look at the 2 films. Which ones are they, Warcorpse? Because you haven't italicized them, so it could be any of the words in the above paragraph. That's the only thing that Davy Boy can play. Ross. I will give the skinny fucker this, comma, at least he had the common decency to fuck off before he became completely annoying. Unlike you, Warcorpse. Anyway, then that might be a low dig, but I mean, he is completely annoying, so it's also accurate. Nicolas Cage. Where David Schwimmer failed, comma, you succeeded, comma, Mr. Cage. You play the same guy, damn. You play the same goddamn character in every single movie. You play the same goddamn character, or the same damn character. The same goddamn character doesn't make any fucking sense, you idiot. In every movie, comma, yet somehow you keep finding work. How the fuck is this possible? Comma. Sorry, how the fuck this is possible is quite frankly beyond me, but you're still here. The amount of stuff that's quite frankly beyond you, though, Warcorpse, is that's a pretty inexhaustible list. Maybe it's because you were one of the first just to play themselves instead of act. That would certainly explain how a C-lister keeps getting A-list work. That's unbelievably harsh. I mean, whether you think he's a good actor or not, he's clearly an A-lister. He's clearly one of those people that, when people see their name attached to a film, they go and watch the film. He's clearly a very well rated and audience drawing character actor. To call him C-list is unbelievably harsh. I would say he's A-list anyway. Or while no, I think he still is. Yeah, I would still say he is. If you're a fan of Nick Cage, comma, you're probably getting pissed with me by now. No, no one's reading this Warcorpse. Only I am, and I'm not really a fan of Nick Cage. He's okay, but whatever. Just ask yourself the following: what performance by Cage has moved you? What performance has really been powerful? What performance of his left some little mark on on cinema history? What movie that Cage was in, comma, that you can say only Nick Cage could play that? Yeah, but that's true of a lot of things. There are very few characters in the history of the cinema that you would say, well, only this actor could have done this. Do you know what I mean? Because every actor brings something slightly different to a role. But whatever. There probably isn't one because Cage doesn't play characters. In every movie he does, he's playing Nick Cage. So why does Cage still get an A-list movies and David Schwimmer can't open up a local theatre? Question mark, and then capital M because it's a new sentence. Maybe because Cage sucked a little more Illuminati dick than Schwimmer. And you've misspelled Schwimmer there. You've put, I think that's misspelled, isn't it? Yeah, Schwimmer. Yeah. Wank. Right, and again, another, I mean, Illuminati isn't real, and another sucking dick reference in every fucking thing. You put a dick sucking reference. I mean, if you're that desperate, Warcorpse, just look. Here's a bit of advice for you, Warcorpse. Stop being you, right? Go out into the real world, and when you see women, I know you don't like them, but just pretend that they're like human beings. I know you don't see them that way, but they just pretend, right? And go up and talk to them and stuff, and you'll find that they're less repulsed by you. And over time, you might be able to get your dick sucked at some point, if that's what you're desperately after, because then you can stop harassing my mind with this constant dick suckingness in your shit books. Anyway, Gene Simmons, and again he's put the name as the first two words in the chapter, which is very annoying. Warcorpse, please stop doing that. Gene Simmons, comma, the bass player behind the most overrated band in history, comma, Kiss. Now that I think is harsh. Kiss are overrated. I will go with you on that. But the most overrated band in history, that's harsh. I consider that there are many, many really shit bands out there who fill stadiums. So I think that's harsh. But anyway, Kiss are all right. You know what I mean? They've got some good tunes. They are the only band that deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but not for musical talent. The reason they deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is because they invented merchandising. Well, they didn't invent it, but they certainly mastered it to a really horrifically cynical extent. Anyway, they invented the art form of selling out. Yes, just yes. Gene Simmons was behind most of this, and he found ways to slap Kiss on fucking everything. In the 70s, there wasn't a product out there that Kiss wasn't on. For Christ's sakes, I think it's for Christ's sake, isn't it? I think so. Comma. They got a made-for-TV movie starring them. Again, you italicized, so I knew it was the impactful word of the sentence. Well done. Has the merchandising slowed down since that time? Question mark. Capital N. No, comma. Gene Simmons has found ways to keep slapping Kiss on everything imaginable. The second that a product is made for marketing, comma, you can bet that Kiss will have their own version of it. It's true. I mean, they really, it's on everything. And it's not so bad here in Britain, but in America they sell everything Kiss. It's ridiculous. So, comma, Gene, what, comma, while you're a genius at marketing and getting a mediocre band pushed to the fucking moon, comma, you're just a real asshole. Asshole is one word in life, aren't you? Question mark. I love it when this motherfucker is one word, actually says with a straight face, comma, that the fans owe him. Yeah, I mean that is a joke. There's no doubt in that, Warcorpse. That is a joke. That's right, comma, that we all owe him a debt of gratitude. Well, comma, when one of your songs entertains me or you give me a fucking job, then I'll be grateful, comma, not before. Yeah, I mean, even then, I don't think you need to be grateful if a song entertains you. For a job, I suppose, to an extent. But then again, you're making money for him, so I'm not sure that's necessarily true either. Anyway, I mean, you have every fucking right to make as much money as you want. You even have every right to be proud of that fact. You even have the right to have the arrogant ass opinion that the world owes you a fucking blowjob. Oh, here it is again. Every fucking chapter, Warcorpse. Oh, my. Because you hire people and pay more taxes. Just as I have the right to call you a cocksucking motherfucker, cocksucking again in what in the in repeat in two cocksucking references in two sentences. Brilliant. Poor said opinion. Just so you're aware, comma, Kiss fans and everyone else in the world owes you jack shit. Let's take a look at how you treat your fans. How long has it been since a new Kiss album? That's a good point. I mean, that is a good point. They haven't been producing new music for a long time. Um, or much new music anyway. They go to your concerts and pay exorbitant fees and prices just to listen to the same fucking songs you've been playing for 40 fucking years. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it is subject to the same rule that we laid down a second, or the same uh, pattern that we've established here, that if you don't ask anything of your creator, the creator, if you're just going to buy the same shit, there's no incentive for the creator to do anything other than just provide the same shit, knowing they'll get paid. And I know that's not supposedly how it works, but clearly for some people it is that way. Anyway, and that's the kind of banality of capitalism, I suppose. Anyway, one more thing, Gene, comma, and this is just a personal note. Would you kindly stop wearing sunglasses indoors, you fucking douchebag? Yeah, that's fair enough. And I think douchebag is one word. Um, you're not cool. You're not young. You're not hip. You're old, and it looks fucking stupid. Yes, I suppose I agree with that, but Walker, I don't know that the international renowned rock star is necessarily going to be taking tips on how to be cool from Cheeto McNeckbeard, old fucking a man who looks like he sweats Mountain Dew. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be. Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's too busy drowning in pussy to care what you think. But whatever. I give a pass if you wore them due to a medical condition, but you don't. I know this because of Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. Now, apparently that's a TV show, so Gene Simmons' Family Jewels should be in italics so that you would know that. Anyway, yet, comma, another thing he made his own after he was a proven moneymaker with the Osbournes. After it was a proven moneymaker with the Osbournes. Again, the Osbournes is a TV show. Italicize it so we know. Or that it's not part of just the sentence. Or the sentence proper. In that show, you are seen several times without your fucking sunglasses on. Your eyes are just fine in the light, comma, so quit trying to look cool. It isn't working for you anymore. Again, I would say yes to that. But, Warcorpse, and this is a big but, that's what she said. Anyway. Again, yeah, I don't see that the international rock star who's flying around in his private jet is going to give a fuck what some random in a Pac-Man t-shirt sitting in his bedroom in Minnesota really thinks about him. Like I say, I think he's too busy getting prepared to play in front of 80,000 fans. Just a thought. Anyway, we'll do one more and we'll call it a day for this one. The Undertaker, aka Mark Calloway. This probably won't take very long to write. Given how shit it's going to be written, it'll probably take quite a while to read, though, won't it? First off, Mark, why in the fuck did you give the streak to Brock Lesnar? Now, again, he doesn't explain what that is. He assumes you're going to know. It's the unbeaten streak at WrestleMania. Anyway, that Brock Lesnar had broken in. What possible fucking motive did you have to give the streak to one of the biggest pieces of shit in WWE? Question mark. Capital H. Oh, so in WWE history? Question. Oh, so these are questions. Okay, right. Giving the streak to a younger guy might have been a risk, but it would have made more sense. Hal, Cena, again, John Cena is another wrestler, as indeed is Brock Lesnar. Actually, he doesn't even explain. He just says, yeah, he doesn't explain who this person is before going into it. He just assumes you're going to know. He doesn't even explain until you see WWE. And even then, you have to know that WWE means World Wrestling Entertainment to know that he's even talking about wrestlers. He doesn't give you any information. It's only because I happen to actually know that this makes any sense to anyone. Hal, Cena would have been a better choice than Lesnar. At least Cena cares about the wrestling business. The only reason that Lesnar's there is because he needs money. Remember, he married the money pit known as Sable. Again, always having a dig at the woman. Always. The first chance that Brock got, he left the WWE. He couldn't cut it in the NFL, that's National Football League, pigskin, American football. And so he moved on to MMA, that's mixed martial arts. Again, he doesn't explain that, he just assumed you're going to know. He would still be in the UFC, that's Ultimate Fighting Championship, which is an event within the general broad scope of MMA. Again, doesn't explain that, just assumes you're going to know. Yeah, anyway, he said he would still be in the UFC if it weren't for his illness. The only reason he's at WWE is he has no other choice. Is he has no other choice. Then you and Vince decide to give them the streak. Why? To give him the streak. Why? Fucking hell. You're so bad at writing. I think we'll get an answer until you officially resign. That should be, I think we won't get an answer until you officially resign. Speaking of retirements, Taker, I think it's about time. Yeah, that is true. The Undertaker has been wrestling since I was a kid, and now I'm now 30. God damn it. Yeah, now I'm fucking old. I'm decrepit, all right. Yeah, so he probably should retire at this point. He must be getting on in years. Your last match at WrestleMania, you looked bad. That's in your last fight, I think. That's not to say that you were a bad wrestler. You're one of my favourites. I've always liked you. I've always liked you. But hell, age catches up with everyone. I don't want to see one of my favourite wrestlers either A, become a joke in the wrestling ring like so many others have become, or B, full stop, / period, get seriously, permanently hurt. Oh, that's really nice. That's touching. And I agree. That's a nice sentiment, if poorly expressed. You've done enough for the business of professional wrestling, it's time to retire and move on to whatever else you would like to do. Just don't stay too long like Ric Flair did. Yeah, that is definitely true, because Ric Flair was a wrestler even before I was a fucking kid. Ric Flair's been around forever. And shut up, phone. That was my phone buzzing. Yeah, and he wrestled until I don't know, he must have been in his 60s or something. And he was this obviously, I mean, for his age, he was in very good shape. But when you're next to, strapping 20 somethings built like, fucking walls, just these huge, hulking, great big individuals, and you've got this old man who, look, I say, for a man in his 60s, looked very good, but clearly was a man in his fucking 60s. And yet he was wrestling with him, and he just made a mockery of it. Because, like, obviously, wrestling it's not real. Sorry to break that to anyone. But you have to have some. You can't have that that the idea that it's actually like a thing by having this really old man taking on these really young men and competing properly, because that isn't real. That breaks any willing suspension of disbelief is totally broken by that nonsense. And of course, it's sad to see this old man having to wrestle because he'd done enough. Anyway, Rick may have been one of the greatest, if not the greatest, and again, I think should be emphasised there, greatest wrestlers to lace up a pair of boots. But he stayed long after his prime, and welcome were gone. Don't make the same mistake. Oh, that's really nice. That's a really nice way to end. So we've ended on the Undertaker, and next time we'll pick up with Pat Sajak. Well, certainly not how it's pronounced. Anywho, let's come out of this nonsense, shall we? Yeah. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Did everyone enjoy that? Let's have a look what's going on in the chat. Yeah. I basically I'm done at this point. Yeah. I should just fucking click the thing off, shouldn't I? Really? Why am I still rambling? Anyway, thank you all for listening and watching. Join me next time for part 5 of this interminable fucking slog through this dreadful book. And I shall see you next time. Thank you for listening and watching. Pip pip.